Some anime characters have a loose relationship with the truth. This is a polite way of saying that some characters lie as naturally as they breathe. These anime liars will bend the truth so that they can manipulate others for personal gain, keep dangerous secrets, or appease a deep-seated emotional need. No matter what their reasoning is, anime characters who lie regularly can add much-needed tension to an otherwise commonplace story. When a particularly untrustworthy character steps on screen, viewers are left to wonder how, and when the liar will get caught, and what the wide-reaching effects of the deception will be. Depending on the situation, one might end up loving the character for their crooked ingenuity, or one might just want to throw them out a window for being so terrible. Either way, these characters add spice to the story. 14. Midousuji Akira, Yowamushi Pedal. Midousuji Akira of Yowamushi Pedal is not afraid to lie if it will help win a bike race. His biggest lie comes when he tells Imezumi, a rival cyclist, that his mother's death had just been announced during a race. The deception is enough to slow Imezumi down, and increases Midousuji's chances of winning the race. While Midousuji has a tangible reason for lying to Imezumi, he also harbors more personal motivations. Midousuji's own mother recently died, and he tries to replace the grieving process with competitive biking. This touches upon Midousuji's other compulsory lie: he pretends to have no emotions besides a blanket contempt for others. Midousuji's threatening body language and constant, blatant lies obscure his true feelings about losing his mother and being bullied as a kid. Whether or not he'll ever open up to anyone remains to be seen. 13. Tomoko Kuroki, Watamote. Watamote's Tomoko Kuroki has one goal in life: she wants to be popular in high school. If she has to sacrifice her authenticity to achieve her goal, that's okay. Whatever persona convinces people to like her will suffice. On the rare occasion that Tomoko actually talks to her classmates, she tells them whatever she thinks they want to hear. When she talks to her friend Yuu and her cousin Kiko, she fabricates tales of her non-existent social life. Other than her brother Tomoki, who hates her, there's no one that Tomoko can be her true self around. 12. Kaori Miyazono, Your Lie in April. In a series called Your Lie in April, one can reasonably expect a lying character to play a central role. That character turns out to be Kaori Miyazono, a free-spirited musician, who is suffering from a mysterious illness that ultimately proves fatal. Not only does Kaori hide her illness until it becomes physically evident, she also lies about her romantic feelings for her fellow musician, Kusi Irima. Kaori can't bring herself to admit how she really feels, in part because she knows she may not survive long enough to see her feelings reciprocated. To obscure her emotions, she pretends to be in love with a classmate named Ryota Wadari. 11. Yuu Otosaka, Charlotte. Yuu Otosaka, the protagonist of Charlotte, has an uneasy relationship with the concept of truth. Otosaka has the power to take over another person's body for brief periods of time, and in the beginning, he uses this ability to cheat on exams. Later, when Naotomori forces him to enroll in Hashinomi Academy, a school for students with supernatural abilities, he's no longer able to inflate his grades this way. Even so, he's forced to continue lying, as he has to keep his power a secret for his own safety. Since he doesn't really care about other people, Otosaka's lies are usually for personal gain. That said, he also lies to spare his little sister's feelings. He pretends that the food she cooks is delicious, even though she puts pizza sauce on literally everything. 10. Masamune Mak, Masamune Koen's Revenge. Masamune Mak of Masamune Koen's Revenge changes his name, appearance, and identity in order to get revenge on Aki Adagaki, a girl who rejected his romantic advances when they were kids. Masamune intends to trick Aki into thinking that he's a complete stranger, so that he can publicly humiliate her after she's fallen for him. To accomplish this, he has to lie to nearly all of his classmates about every aspect of his life. Masamune's lies aren't entirely motivated by revenge. He's protective of his past because he thinks he'll be mocked and abused for who he used to be. Masamune was heavy as a child, but kept to a strict regimen of diet and exercise to lose weight. Now, he's terrified of gaining the weight back, and equally terrified of anyone finding out about his history. 9. Misaki Nakahara, Welcome to the NHK. Welcome to the NHK features Misaki Nakahara, a teenage girl, who convinces her shut-in neighbor Tatsuhiro Sato that she can help fix his mental health issues. While he doesn't initially believe that she knows what she's talking about, he's vulnerable enough to accept her help, despite her methods stemming from beginner psychology books. Why does Misaki misrepresent herself as a mental health expert? By secretly observing Sato, she determines that he is the only person more pathetically miserable than herself, and she wants to make him dependent on her. Yikes. 8. Ayami, Mr. Osomatsu. Mr. Osomatsu boasts a large cast of reprehensible dirtbags, and Ayami is the most deceitful of them all. Some of his lies stem from a desire to appear successful, wealthy, and cultured, which is why he claims to be rich and to have lived in France. When he's not lying for the sake of his image, he's trying to cheat people out of money or convince women to sleep with him. Basically, nothing Ayami says is to be trusted. 7. Megumi Kitagawa, Say I Love You. Say I Love You stars Megumi Kitagawa, a professional model, who is trying to acclimate herself to normal high school life. She attempts this feat by being excessive friendly, and regularly offers her classmates perks like access to modeling shoots and free theme park tickets. The thing is, Megumi isn't actually the bubbly, extroverted person she presents herself as. In reality, she's lonely, bitter, and full of jealous rage. Over the course of the series, Megumi learns to be open and honest about her true feelings. In doing so, she begins to build genuine relationships with others. 6. Akane Minegawa, Scum's Wish. Few of the characters in Scum's Wish are honest, but Akane Minegawa takes lying to an extreme. Akane puts great effort into cultivating a sugary and angelic persona, which makes her come off as incredibly attractive. However, Akane's true nature is quite different, and she has to lie constantly to keep anyone from finding out. The character's antithetical personality leads her to seduce men, only to quickly discard them when she gets bored. She extends this treatment to her underage student, Muji, an act of coercion that is anything but angelic. 5. Erika Shinohara, Wolf Girl and Black Prince. After a divergent classroom assignment separates Erika Shinohara from her best friend, the star of Wolf Girl and Black Prince desperately wants to forge new connections. To meet new people, she lies about having a boyfriend and brags non-stop about him. The side of her personality that lies to gain validation is called the Wolf Girl. Unfortunately, Erika's Wolf Girl behavior leads to her getting blackmailed by her sadistic classmate Kyuya Sada. Kyuya is willing to pretend to be Erika's boyfriend as long as she acts like his personal pet, otherwise, he'll reveal her lies and trash her reputation. Somehow, this leads to Erika falling in love with Kyuya, because anime revels in creepy, unhealthy relationships. 4. Reigen Arataka, Mob Psycho 100. Reigen Arataka of Mob Psycho 100 will lie about pretty much anything, as long as there's some way to make a profit. He claims to be psychic, and makes a living off of exorcising ghosts. Instead of actually leading the exorcisms himself, he employs a 12-year-old boy who goes by the nickname Mob to handle the entrenched spirits. How does he convince Mob to do this work for minimal pay? By making it seem like he can train the youth to use his powers more effectively. While Reigen is unquestionably a con artist, he's also oddly moral. He can't really teach his young employee how to use his powers, but he nonetheless acts as a mentor figure for Mob. When the boy needs help rescuing his younger brother from powerful kidnappers, Reigen steps in without hesitation. Even though he knowingly lies about his abilities, he believes that adults have a responsibility to look out for children. 3. Kyuubey, Puella Magi Madoka Magica. Kyuubey of Puella Magi Madoka Magica engages in a specific sort of lying by omission. While Kyuubey does not outright lie to the young magical girls he tries to coerce, he only provides them with details he thinks they'll find persuasive. Conveniently, he always leaves out the aspects of being a magical girl that seem unsafe or unpleasant. Kyuubey belongs to an alien species that can't feel or understand human emotion, so it feels natural to him to prioritize efficiency over the feelings of the people he deals with. 2. Makoto Itu, School Days. School Days is notorious for being one of the most disturbing anime ever. Seriously, the show ends with Makoto Itu getting his head chopped off by his enraged ex-girlfriend, Sekai. What could possibly motivate Sekai to carry out such a brash action? For starters, Makoto acted dishonestly throughout the whole of their relationship. Makoto claims to love Sekai, even though he clearly does not, just so she'll sleep with him. After dumping Sekai for Kotonoha, Makoto pretends like his relationship with Kotonoha has ended, even though they're still very much together, just so he can have another shot with Sekai. Makoto doesn't have the guts to honestly discuss his feelings, so he opts instead to lie manipulatively. 1. Light Yagami, Death Note. Death Note is full of liars, but the biggest by far is Light Yagami. Light doubles as the mass murderer publicly known as Kira, and uses a magical notebook to end the lives of criminals. Originally, Light's goal is to create a safe and just world, but his drive quickly morphs into a megalomaniacal desire to become a god. In order to achieve his villainous ends, Light has to lie constantly to avoid being caught. Whether he's claiming to be vehemently against Kira's actions, making up alibis to cover his tracks, or telling his mother that he's studying when he's actually on a snack-fueled murder spree, just about everything that comes out of this guy's mouth is a lie.